She disappeared more than 25 years ago, but tonight detectives have just cracked the case. They say this Portland woman is the 8th victim of the notorious Oregon serial killer. Welcome everyone to KOIN 6 News at 11. I'm Kelly Day.
And I'm Jeff Gianola. New at 11, we take a look at the evidence that's finally bringing a family closure. The face of 18-year-old Tanya Johnson is frozen in time. For the last 26 years, no one knew for sure what happened to her until now. DNA from unidentified remains proves she was the 8th victim of notorious serial killer Dayton Leroy Rogers. Rogers was known as the Molalla Forest Murderer, the bodies of his victims found in a forested dump site.
He walked up to me and shook my hand, and I looked him in the eyes, and it was just... There's somebody else in there.
Julie Ensign first met and knew Rogers in 1974 and always knew there was something strange about him.
He had two ways of looking at females, and it was horror or angel. There was no middle ground. You're a good girl. I like you because you're a good girl.
Most of Rogers' victims had ties to prostitution, their bodies found with their feet cut off. Rogers was eventually caught, convicted of 7 murders, and sentenced to death. He begged the jury to spare his life.
Please know that I know that just as my crimes are beyond anything you have ever heard of, your shock and distress in hearing the evidence must have been so great that you have become victims too.
It didn't work. Rogers was sentenced to death, but the Oregon Supreme Court overturned the death sentence on a legal issue. Back to court, sentenced again to die, and overturned once again by the Supreme Court. Rogers now sits in a cell at the Oregon State Prison, waiting for a third chance at death. Now, Rogers is scheduled for another trial in March of next year.